I am not my breath. I'm not even my body. I move beyond my mind. I move beyond thinking. I move beyond even a single thought. And I invite Samuel and my guides to speak through me. Welcome back. The friends. They gather. Not only in front of this one we speak through, but on the other side of the veil as well. They sense this moment arriving. And without anything more than but an energetic invitation, they arrive. Surrounded by these energies, surrounded by their wisdom, and surrounded by their loving nature. Dear ones, you are so very loved. It is the seed of the love that you carry within, that spark, that light, that essence of what you are. It matters not how it is conveyed. For each carries this divine spark, this essence of the one. It unfolds. Continuously. It is always there. Whether you recognize it or not. For it is a part of you. This essence. And just as your sun shines brighter on some days than others, it is the same with your essence. It never leaves you, for you are it, and it is you. In your human terms. In these vessels you parade around in, thinking you are separate when you are not. Hard to conceive. Being an aspect of the one, yet being the one. You seek, you expect to find lines of demarcation. Sudden burst of energy. Mm-hmm. She looks out the window, ready to raise this alarm. Do not each one of you have habits like that? Triggers? That raise the alarm, so to speak, in your mind. The bells and the whistles go off. Oh no. How many times have they been set off, and how many times have you come back to a place of peace, of rest, of contentment? All part of this growth. We speak of so very often. Challenges, come in many forms. Some raise fear. Some raise doubt. This one and his wife practiced, witnessed this acrobatic yoga, these balanced positions, challenged each of them. For not only were you supporting your own weight, you were supporting the weight of another. Finding a unique position, a balance point. Where suddenly things just seemed to be a bit easier. Is that not the challenge with learning any new skill? At first it feels awkward, difficult, confusing, too much going on, too many things to remember. And yes, the fear can creep in. What if we fall? What if I cannot support? What if my arms will not hold this weight? And then they see the ones who are so very practiced at this. And not only can they hold these unique balanced positions, they can transition from one to the next seamlessly. Is that not how your emotions operate too? You can learn. Can you not? When you are overreacting, so to speak. When you are barking like the dog at that transgressor who stepped on the front lawn. Only to realize this too shall pass. And if you choose, you can find a more peaceful transition, a more loving transition than barking at another. Than finding fault with another. There is a grace when you choose to respond with love. There is a transition that feels comforting and warm. Versus the harshness of the bark, the unbridled energy of it. And yes, sometimes it does take a moment. Sometimes it flows naturally. As we spoke of the acro yoga. How, with much practice, they can flow seamlessly from one balanced position. That for those observing looks extremely difficult to even attain, and they flow out of it into a completely different one. A beautiful sight to behold. Just as it is a beautiful thing to experience when you respond with love and you see that received and returned. Dear ones, have you had any questions today?
Keith and I had an experience last night where we had a family dinner and somebody came that doesn't usually come, and on the way home we just started talking about what irritates us about this person, and we both felt bad about it. As a matter of fact, Keith said even before we got home, he says, "Oh gosh, how many spiritual laws have we just broken in the ride home?" And we both, we were just sort of laughing, and yet it feels so good sometimes when somebody irritates you, or you have a negative experience, to just talk it out and
I agree.
Yeah, to say it out loud. And then at the end, we sort of come back to, okay, they're on their journey, they're doing this, and their essence is love. But is it okay? Is it okay just to...
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And we say that because there was this energy percolating in both of you last night. And sometimes in your humanness, it is more beneficial to express that and realize you expressed it amongst yourselves, just the two of you. You did not confront the others. You did not stand in righteous indignation and say you were right and they were wrong. That would be so much harsher of the ego. Instead, you chose Yes, to vent, so to speak. And then to come back, as we said just a moment ago, of focusing on the love that not only that you are, but that they are also. Even if at times they do not express as you think would be in a loving way.
So basically we shouldn't edit our judgment. We should let the energy move through, and because of our awareness of it, we can be healed in the awareness, and then let it go in love, because that's what we know is everything.
Yeah, is their essence.
Yeah, their
And
essence.
they're working on it too,
Right,
in their
and-
own way.
Exactly, yeah. But
Right.
also, the thing that happened on Sunday for myself, I was judging a certain situation, and then I thought, wait a minute now. You're judging. And then I thought, well, this is interesting. I'm judging of my being judgmental. And so it was kind of like, oh, okay. And then luckily it was Christine's talk just made me laugh. I mean, it was like, wow, bingo. This is what I needed to, it was okay. But it was kind of like by the time I got to my seat, and then I had it was an affirmation of, that you can let it go, and that it's really not the big deal that we tend to fester. Is this right, Samuel? To let it go through our bodies and through our systems.
You are much better letting it move through you than it is holding on to it.
And don't beat us up on the way either, right? Ourselves, yeah, because that's what I was doing when I opened up the door on Sunday.
Judging your judgment, yes.
Well,
Again, we speak of accepting things as they are.
I know.
How many times do we look at a situation and wish it were different? Wish it unfolded differently? Be it you at church yesterday or they at the dinner last night. Sometimes this acceptance of what is a hard thing for you to do in your humanness.
But talking about it with someone of like mind, and then saying, okay, raise the vibration by understanding with each other.
Yeah.
But you did it with love too.
Right.
Yeah, nobody wanted to hurt anybody in any of these situations. It was more like a confusion of why didn't that happen the way that you would think it would be a loving thing to happen, and then it didn't, and it was kind of like, well, who can I blame because that didn't happen? They didn't respond in a loving way. And that's really weird because somebody's not responding in a loving way, and so then I get annoyed because they're not responding in a loving way, so how loving is that? This is a circle, Samuel.
Yes, it is. Many things, you get trapped in your humanness in these circles of logic, so to speak. How can that be a loving action? And then you find you're judging it. And the next thing you know, who's not loving?
That's right. That's right.
But then if you hold it in and it festers and you get irritated, then isn't that how we kind of get sick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead and talk about it.
Let it run
In
through.
kindness and in love with somebody.
Well, with the awareness. don't you think?
Again,
So-
awareness is key to so many of these things. To raising this vibration to a one of love instead of conflict or judgment. Put whatever tag you want on it.
Is it a situation where light workers now are having physical challenges that must be surrendered because it is moving the energy through to be released.
Much energy is bubbling up in your nation right now to be released. So many of these issues, as she just spoke, when the energy rises to the surface to be released, and you see this release, what if you just celebrated the release instead?
I like that one.
Yeah.
For it has come to the light of day, rather than sit inside and fester. And as you well know, each one of you, that when you hold on to something like that, it will fester and it will bother you in one way or the other, be it a pain in your knee or your back or an upset stomach for not releasing. This one we speak through. Sometimes, dear ones, you take quite a while to sort things out.
Well, we don't see the big picture as well as you do.
I was gonna
He
say.
felt offended, felt betrayed by his own brother, who loaned him money and never returned it. And how do we say? It was as if one day this light went on. And he realized, yes, he was not going to get repaid. But the only one that was getting punished by his anger, resentment, was him. His brother cared not. His brother had written it off. Yet this one we speak through carried this burden with him for many moon, as you say. That this was wrong. Again, we speak of this crazy word, this acceptance of what is. For sometimes what you feel, what is right, will never come to pass, as it did in this case. And only when he, like we said, had that moment of clarity and realized that the only one who was suffering from this was this one. He let it go. No judgment against himself, no judgment against his brother. He just said, hey, if I want to have peace in this situation, I need to let my anger go. A number of years we speak of. It should have become obvious to him that the debt would not be repaid. Again, we speak of what? Awareness, choice. Are you going to hang on to that? Or release. Let go, move on. We deliberately chose an example that seems to have Why would you do that? For your own peace of mind, dear one. For your own peace of mind.
Samuel,
Yes.
yesterday, when I was up by Victoria, I felt like there was a different energy. Was that what I was feeling? It just seemed very different. Well, it was different from the medical intuitive man when he was there. What was I
Why
feeling?
would you think her energy would be the same as a medical intuitive man's?
Well, I didn't, but
Her guides are different. The energy she brings in, the entourage, the counsel she brings with her, completely different.
it seems heavier or stronger or powerful or something. Yes? Is that what I was feeling? It just seemed heavier to me. It was different. Very
When you
different.
speak of what this one experienced last week, he felt that energy draw near, and he realized, ooh, this is pretty big. This is more than he's used to.
So that's what I was sensing, though, her energy with all her beings.
Entourage.
Yes, that's what I was feeling. Because I wasn't unhappy, but yet it was something was very
Was it a reading or something, or just people?
people, like
People.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
She was speaking,
Oh, okay.
like Keith does.
Oh, okay.
As we said, she brings through different people. Did she not have the one called Edgar Casey come through?
Yes, I've never met him before, like yesterday.
The sleeping prophet.
We would say his energy is up there, dear one. And again, not to say that the one you saw the week before did not have wonderful energy. It's just different. We try not to judge that this one is so much better than this one because it feels this much better.
So I wasn't
That
used
is what
to
we've been discussing just this moment.
So I wasn't used to that power, I guess, is it? Is that what I was experiencing? Because I've been thinking about this since last night. And I just wasn't sure what it was that made it so different.
No different. The first time we spoke through this one, heck, he was, how you say, questioning, scared of, trying to wrap his head around who, how is this coming through me? And then, when Sarah shows up, when Thomas shows up, he goes through the same cycle of emotion, so to speak. The newness of it. The unfamiliarity with it. Only to become familiar enough that there is this, as we spoke of, the acro yogas. It took them, we know, considerable amount of time to become familiar with each other. For there is a communication, a wordless communication that goes through when they exercise those balance poses. Just as if you see this one the next time, you probably will be more comfortable with what you experience, for you have experienced it before. For many, just a newness can bring thoughts of fear. What will happen next? Where is this leading to? What do you expect? Expectations are something else, are they not?
Well, and I guess I wasn't expecting her either. I was expecting the other woman.
This one's granddaughter started school last week. She, especially with other children, very outgoing, very much interested in making new friends. Came home and asked her mother after her first day of class why, when she went up and introduced herself, some children would not even speak to her. She found this hard to understand. It didn't fit the way she feels, the way she reacts, the way she is around other children. She wants to know. She wants to be friends. She wants to say hi. She wants to play. She was not expecting someone to just give her what you would call in your adult terminology, the cold shoulder, so to speak. And we tell you, we are certain many parents teach, do not talk to strangers. So again, it is a matter of perspective. It is a matter of awareness. It is a matter of what you expect in a situation. And when it unfolds in a way that you do not expect, how will you react to that? And just as we discussed, can you stay in that loving frame of mind? can you stay in that realization that, hey, maybe some of those children she approached had been told, you don't talk to strangers.
I never thought about that with peers.
Yeah, no.
I don't think about them as strangers, they're just peers. I mean, you gotta spend a year together, probably.
When you're a child and someone says that to you, where do you draw the distinction?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, some of them just don't realize they're safe,
Yeah.
you know,
So, yeah.
to be open.
Yeah. They're in the observing mode, probably, as well,
Yeah.
to see how
They
everybody...
could be observing, they could be scared to even be there in
Yeah.
amongst all these new people,
Right. Yeah.
new environs.
Mhm.
Everything there, quote unquote, they walk into a situation with their parents turn and leave, and they are standing there alone with all these kids. They don't know who they are, and all these adults, they don't know who they are either.
Yeah.
In an unfamiliar environment. That can be,
Yeah.
depending on how the child has been reared up to that point, that can be very disconcerting for the child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or it can be just another environment. Hey, wow, look at all the new kids I can meet.
Yeah. Yeah. That used to be the transition from like junior high to high, because then you have to make new friends and a new curriculum, and it would be so different, and people always got the heebie-jeebies before, you know, it started, because it was going to be a different, you were in high school then, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, and children know so much more now about what's going on in the world, you know, because of their environment, information age.
Samuel, can you tell me what happened to Ruby on Saturday? Did she get bit or stung on that paw?
Stung.
Did she pull that stinger out? Was there a stinger in there?
No.
No. It's just...
Clean hit.
Well, I'm grateful for that.
It's funny how he can know all that stuff, isn't it?
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah, my little rascal, he's been so loving, and I mean, just to the point of almost annoying, which, I mean, he's always been an attentive cat, but it's like, now it's like he paws at me and like, you know, touch me and stuff like that, and I thought, well, maybe he's feeling something extra, a little more jive going on or something. And I mean, he wants me to pick him up, and
Maybe he thinks
I
you
even-
need to feel his love.
I guess. I mean, I was dancing around the other day with him, and he wasn't minding it at all. Not
Well,
jumping
Samuel,
in.
what's Rascal going through?
Yeah, bless his heart. He's beautiful. I love him.
What was this, last week, dear one?
Yeah, more so. More so, it seems like. He's been doing it for the last really month or so, more so. But it's like, you know, to the point of like, you know, it can be obnoxious. It's kind of like, well, hello. You know, you have a cat in every room, and he's annoying you, you know, or wanting your attention, not so much annoying. He couldn't be annoying. But
Have there not been times when, for whatever the reason, you felt like you wanted more attention?
you mean like cats are like people too? They want more attention.
They have personalities just like you do. And their personalities fluctuate just like yours does.
Mhm.
as what we're trying to bring across.
Speaking of animal behavior, isn't it interesting how for the whole first year that Keith channeled, Wink would always sit in my lap. Remember?
Right, yeah.
Always. Never
Yeah.
without fail did she
Huh.
not sit in my lap until this summer. And she's
Wherever she is, I don't
yeah,
even know.
she's been, like for weeks now.
Huh.
What
She
has
doesn't-
changed?
What changed,
Yeah,
do you
what's changed
think?
with Wink?
Comfort level.
Oh, she's comfortable with the group.
She's comfortable with this group being here.
Okay, makes sense.
She's comfortable with this energy that flows in.
Yeah,
So she doesn't have to be in Mommy's lap.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Maybe she was protecting you. Was she protecting Laura in a way?
Mutual problem.
I would not
You know,
say so
yeah.
much protecting, I think.
Getting comfort.
Yeah.
She was on guard, so to speak.
Samuel,
Felt she had to be close to be on guard. Again, we speak of the comfort level. She has now become more comfortable, much more comfortable with people coming and going than she was in the beginning. Unlike the granddaughter we just spoke of, what is her typical reaction when somebody comes in the room? I'm going to get in your face and I'm going to bark at you, buddy. Who are you and why are you here and what's going on? I want to know.
It's Ruby.
so Samuel, I haven't heard from my friend Dee lately. And the last time I heard from her, she was resting and having tea. Has she gone on to work now? Or is she still around?
She's still near. She sent you a big hug. Filled with love. Thankful. Thankful for how much you cared for each other while you were in human form, and thankful that you still care for her now that she is not. Much love. But yes, there is much for her to do.
Do those we love always pop back in and, well, not necessarily pop in, but do they check on us somehow or see us?
How do we say? The other side of the veil is energy. It is easy. Wow. Easier, so to speak, to pop in than it is in this physical realm.
At the anniversary of someone's passing, do they seem to, because you still love them and talk to them and everything, like they're still there? Because I have a situation like that coming up on a 9 years, and I wondered if that was, and I heard from their family member about it, and that they think of me, and around this time, and are they more around us? I feel like she's always around. Period.
You're drawn to the energy of your feelings.
Yeah. So that would be like every day. It didn't have to be greater on an anniversary of the event of passing.
The only reason you might sense it's greater at the anniversary is because you're thinking even more about it at that point. You are sending more energy out.
Yeah.
These yes, responding to the energy they are. In your humanness, you focus on the date, these anniversaries. But again, all is energy. So think of the one that has transitioned. If all of a sudden you and all her family members are thinking of her also. Suddenly, it's not like she's getting a phone call from one of you. She's getting a phone call from many of you.
Yeah, probably a lot of people. Because of the love, so.
Samuel, I had a dream the other night about someone I used to be close to and their dog. And it just struck me as odd because I don't think I was thinking of this person. And I haven't really thought of this person. Why does that, if you're not, how does that happen? What is it? Is something going on with this person?
Can it not be a two-way street, dear one? Could not they be thinking of you and that's why they suddenly appeared?
Oh, yeah. Just like we think of our loved one across the veil,
Right.
they pop in. It could happen between two humans. Why not? I mean,
Yeah. Well, I guess part of it, I was wondering if they were sick too, but
No.
no. Well, that's good. Strange. Okay, that's enough. Enough of that question.
Well, and too, even if they were to reincarnate, into the here and now on this planet, there would still be an aspect of them that would be spirit, that we would all be connected, correct? I mean,
Correct.
That's what I heard and read. And it seems to, because of the multidimensionality.
You took the words from our mouth.
Okay.
Multidimensional beings you are all. Living in a multidimensional universe.
It gets real confusing. What's
to us.
reality?
Why do you think your human senses have some limits?
So we wouldn't get
So we
bombarded
don't-
with
Yeah.
confusion. Yeah.
It would be rather confusing. If you could see all realms at once, you would be
Freaked out is what would.
Samuel, is there anything we need to know about the eclipse? Anything we need to be doing or preparing? Or just enjoy the party?
enjoy the energy. Be a unique energy that day.
Is the earth going to be?
There will be a unique energy from the event as well as from the participation in it in this locality.
Mm.
just as we spoke of this quote-unquote anniversary, think of how many people are anticipating this event. Amplify it, so to speak.
Is it a week from today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
So-
21st.
Are you going to have a party with us? It'll be on Monday, right?
Well, we may change it to a different day next week. We need to discuss that after.
Okay.
Is the Earth going to be blocked from the electromagnetic energy of the sun, Samuel, for those minute or two? And will that have any effect on the geographics of the planet?
No.
Will it have on our bodies?
You're going to notice a different energy.
But after the
And like you said, it will be brief.
So only during the event, not after the event, for any alteration or anything.
Well, where do we separate this? This event yes, it is rare that it occurs in this physical locality, but it is fairly common occurrence. When you look at the whole globe, this earth of yours.
Somebody said last night that it happens every 18 months
Somewhere.
somewhere on the earth. Yeah, it might be over the Pacific Ocean.
So there's this rhythm to it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't see it because it's out in the middle of the
Is there,
ocean.
and everybody keeps saying there's significance because it's over the United States of America.
Oh.
Prideful you guys are. Hey, look, it's in our ballpark today.
Having to do with the events
That
and
would be
consciousness
us.
of
Yeah.
the United States of America, so long as we stay United States of America. There are people talking secession. They've been doing that for years. The South.
But as we have spoken this year, this whole energy is changing all the time. There's much new energies coming in, not even associated with this event. This one we speak through has felt a restlessness.
I agree with that, and also just a severe tiredness sometimes. Like out of nowhere, I'll be fine, and all of a sudden, and I mean, it's the only thing I can, do a parallel with is like an energy sugar drop or something, but it's not that. It's just kind of like, oh my God, I think I need to go horizontal now, and as long as I can, and I do, and I close my eyes, and I'm not aware of any activity overtly happening, but it's kind of like, like you were talking about the weight with that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, oh, do I really have to move my arm now? And then it's like, once it passes, it's like, oh, okay. Thank God it passes, usually after a sleep or a nap. Is that the kind of energy going on as well as
There's
just all kinds?
all kinds.
Yeah.
This one we speak through. Saturday night, very restless. Woke up remembering dreams. It was like he woke up so many times he was trying to figure out, did he get any sleep at all? And at 4 a.m. we kind of gave him a little information, so to speak, and he got up and went in the other room and wrote it down.
Because I've had
And after receiving that quote-unquote download from us, he felt there's no way I can go back to sleep right now. So he sat there and meditated for 90 minutes. Came back to bed, slept for a bit, got up and started his day. And unlike what you were expressing, he was a bit perplexed on why he did not feel totally tired. Why he did not feel he even needed to take a nap. Energies can affect you both ways. They can disrupt you in a way that you feel like you should be exhausted afterwards and you're not. Or they can disrupt you and make you feel like, boy, I really need a nap.
Now, is that attributed to the newer energy that's surrounding us all at this time? Because I mean, I never
Yes,
used
that
to
is
feel
what
that way.
yes, that is what we are speaking of.
Okay. And it's kind of like a surrender that happens. You know, it's just kind of, okay, this is now. This is it. Let go. No verbal messages or anything, just sometimes when I wake up in the morning I wonder if I've been uploaded or downloaded and then done both. It's kind of, you know, when I open my eyes. Wow, where have I been and what's happened?
That's the way he felt Saturday night. Kept on having these little snippets of dreams, and then he'd wake up and he was in another one. It was like, oh, jeez. I don't even remember the other one. How am I going to remember this one? And then poof, he's back off to sleep again. Poof, he wakes up, oh, geez, there's another one. Oh, my gosh. What is this?
Yeah, but you're remembering dreams. You have something to hang on to. I just feel beat up. I mean, it's not a bad beat up, but there's an awareness of something that's taken place. That's what
Right, that's all he can tell you. Something took place Saturday night. Okay. He really can't tell you what happened.
Oh, okay.
He can tell you he did get it at one point and wrote something down, but that's it.
Yeah. See, mine usually want peanut butter and jelly and a glass of milk.
Did Keith sense Veronica's energy like I did?
Victoria. This humanness, we find comical.
Well, especially yours.
Each one of you are individual. We have spoken of this. Each one of you senses things differently.
So I take it no.
A hard one to get through to something.
I know. And the worst
worst was I asked Victoria a question, and like Samuel, she looked at me and said, "But you already know the answer." And I thought, "Oh no!"
Trust.
Yes, that's what she said too. Trust.
Did not you speak of that with this one on the ride home yesterday?
Trust.
Trust.
Probably.
If he says you did, you probably
Yes. Oh well.
This. Expectations again, dear ones. That one we spoke of, the granddaughter. I mean, she was trusting that what she typically does is what everybody else would do. They would be friendly, offer their name, want to play. And then she walked away thinking, Mom, how come they didn't even talk to me? Her expectation was that they would. And when they didn't, she left confused. She left wondering. Do not you sit around often after these and listen to what other people have experienced?
Mm-hmm.
And do not you realize that there are those that experience things that are not what you experience? Mm-hmm. You heard the same words, you sat in the same energy, yet the experience is different. No different than listening to your music. There are some music that one of you will listen to and just find overjoyed by it, and there's others that would listen to that and say, well, not for me.
You just described Kate and me.
What counts as sharing? Opportunities, exposure.
Well, Samuel, thank you for coming and visiting today.
Thank you for joining us, dear ones. We appreciate you gathering. We appreciate you sharing your experiences. And we bid you adieu, a very loving, adieu.
Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you.
Well, this was definitely calmer and more peaceful.
Yeah.
Last week.
And just as well, I visited with the remedial humans again. And all the questions and foibles and this and that. They're so remedial there. Do I have to